Hi, good morning. It's Mrs. K, your art teacher. And some of you know me as your art teacher, and some of you know me as Mrs. K, just from my YouTube channel. So today we are going to do a drawing called a landscape. So those of you that are going to draw along with me, go ahead and get your big piece of paper and some pencil. And I've got a pencil. I like to draw with 6B, and that's one of my favorites there. It's a 6B, and it's got nice soft lead. B on a pencil means black, and this pencil is nice and dark, and there you go, 6B. 6B are, they have a lot of nice soft graphite. Then I'm just going to finish this with some Sharpies, but you can use whatever tools you like. So start with a pencil in case you make mistakes. That's always good advice. So I did turn off that light. The last time I had a bright light on, it was just a little bit too much reflection. So let's go ahead and get started. So when we do a landscape, and that means we're going to be doing a drawing of some stuff that we would see outside, maybe in nature. So that's what I'm going to have you think about today. So what I always suggest we start with is a ground line. So I'm going to draw a ground line across the bottom third of my paper. So my paper was like, this was a third, and that's a third, and that's a third. So when we do a landscape, when we look outside, you can look outside a window or you can look from your car. This is again the ground line. And these are in this ground right here. This is called what we call the foreground. So I'll write that down. So if we go on from here, you'll know what I'm talking about. So we'll do some new art vocabulary. So this is the foreground. This is the foreground, the stuff that's going to be closest to us. And then anything that's here, this is called the middle ground, and then that would be the background. Yeah, so anyway, and I just realized that's backwards, so anyway, this is the foreground. So say we had a cat was going to be looking, sitting on top of a wood pile or something, and the kitty would appear closest to us because obviously things that are closest to us appear larger. So here's a kitty, and you don't have to draw that. I just want you to know what these words, what I'm talking about when we do continue on from here. So there's a little kitty, and you can draw a shape or whatever you want. And that kitty obviously is closest to us, so she's biggest. She's the largest thing there. So if this is the middle ground, say kitty's sitting here on the mailbox and waiting for the mail delivery. We'll put her up there. And so this is the middle ground. And so in the middle ground, maybe here's a driveway. I'm going to put somebody's driveway, and then the driveway goes back to the house that's sitting in the middle ground. And here's the middle ground. And that house is just a basic shape of a rectangle, and then a parallelogram up top. And this again is what we would call the foreground because it's closest to you. Here's the middle ground, and this we'll put a door there, and then maybe we'll put some pine tree kind of back there a little bit. So you can just follow along with me and look for the basic shapes. I really want you to understand the vocabulary so that next week when we do something a little more complex and I say, oh, put that in the foreground. Anyway, and I realize now it's backwards. So that's the foreground. This is the middle ground. And this is the background. So let's do just a nice little something here. We see a lot in Wyoming. We'll just do some a nice little mountain range. There's Gannett Peak, way up high. And again, as things get a little further back in the distance, they're not as quite as sharp, and you don't see them as much, and that would be the background. So this is the foreground, this is the middle ground, this is the background, and maybe back here you have another little hill. So just go ahead and sketch along with me, try to create those little shapes. And so for today, what our takeaway is that this is the foreground, this is the middle ground, and this is the background. And then next week we'll look at a picture, and we'll draw from a picture together. So, and then I'll get tidied up here with my text, because gee, I never thought I'd be teaching on a YouTube channel, but it's kind of fun to do. So anyway, yes, and I did, Mrs. K is a swimmer, and I love to swim. And I was a butterflyer and a freestyler, and this is one of my medals from back in the day when I was probably 12 or 13, and I kept all my little swimming medals, and I just kind of put that on today so I would look kind of official. So I'm the ambassador for art. Take care. So remember the foreground, middle ground, and background, and sketch that in, and go ahead, put something in the foreground, maybe a house or a barn in the middle ground, and then do a little mountain range in the background. And next week we'll develop those ideas a little bit further. Thanks, take care, happy drawing, Mrs. K. Bye.